Hi everyone, welcome back to Risa Does Makeup. If this is your first time here, my name is Risa, and today I'm going to be showing you how to get that really elongated, lifted, foxy eye look a la Bella Hadid if you have hooded and downturned eyes. If you have hooded and downturned eyes and you've tried following some other tutorials done by YouTubers that don't have hooded or downturned eyes, you probably weren't very successful. In order to give our eye shape that real lifted, elongated look, we have to do things a little bit differently than those that don't have that type of eye shape. At least if we want it to be flattering. So it might look a little bit different, the end result might look a little bit different, but you are gonna get that lifted, elongated fox eye effect. Now, some of you looking at me right now might be thinking you don't have hooded or downturned eyes, but that's the magic of makeup, and that's what I'm gonna teach you today. So I'm gonna cut to the footage of me without any eye makeup on so you can see my eye shape, and then get right into the tutorial. So before I get started, I want to give you a closer look at the shape of my eyes. They are hooded, which means that I really don't have a discernible crease. The skin on my lids hangs down almost right on top of my upper lash lines. So when I wear eyeshadow, you really can't see the color that I put on my lid unless I'm looking down. You can see it a little bit, but as the years progress and my eyes become more hooded, the less you can see on the lid. So I do have to do my eyeshadow a little bit differently. I have tons of hooded eye videos on my channel. I have tutorials on how to do winged liner on hooded eyes, how to achieve the halo eye on a hooded lid. So I will link that playlist in the description box for you if you'd like to check those out. In addition to having hooded eyes, my eyes are also downturned. I think it's pretty obvious. My eyes go up and over and then straight down, almost like a sad puppy dog. So what I found interesting about this whole fox eye trend is that these are tips and tricks and techniques that I've been doing for so long, simply because I've had to, out of necessity. I like the look of an uplifted eye, and I try to make my eyes look less downturned. So a lot of what you're going to see, you've probably seen in other videos of mine if you've been a subscriber for a while or a viewer for a while. I've done so many of these techniques way before foxy eyes was a trend. So the way I start off might be a little bit different than some other tutorials you've seen. I like to start with the brows, and I don't completely fill in my brows at the beginning. I just do sort of an outline. You'll notice in this video that I do a lot of mapping or outlining before I start going in and adding more product and blending. So I'm gonna do that with my brows right now. What I do is I raise my brows up so I can get right in here, and then I bring it out towards my temples. So it's going out and not down. And then what I do is I take a little bit of concealer, this one is from NARS, and a synthetic concealer brush, and then I just go right under the arch and carve out the brow. Now, for some people, you might have a lot of hairs there if you don't already have the shape going on, so you can either tweeze them or you don't have to. The concealer will pretty much cover the brow hairs. But if you want to have this look on a regular basis, like I do, then you will want to go in with your tweezers and tweeze some hairs. So that's all we're doing for now. Now we're going to map some more. And for that, we're going to use a brown eye pencil. This one is just an inexpensive one from Wet n Wild. And you want the pencil to be sort of creamy, but not too creamy that it moves all around. I know a lot of you have heard that tip that says to follow your lower lash line when winging out your eyeliner to sort of keep that angle going. But if you have downturned eyes like mine, when you smile, your eyes turn down even more. So that eyeliner still ends up down here. And then with me, I know what happens is the eyeliner smudges in that area if that eyeliner is hanging down too low. So what I do is I smile into the mirror. I know this seems strange, but I smile into the mirror and I mark You see how fleshy my eyes are? This is what happens when you're not in your 20s or even in your 30s and you have hooded, downturned eyes. It's a lot harder to do this, but it can be done. So I put the little dot there. So now when I smile, do you see how it's not going to be down here? If I had continued to follow my lower lash line, the dot would be somewhere around here. So when I smiled, it would end up down here. So you want it to be a little bit higher. So now we're just going to pull that in. And I know it looks really long when the eye is pulled taut, but when I let it go and the hood falls, you can see that it's not as dramatic as it looks when it's taut. So now I'm going to line the lower lash line just right at the root. By the way, I did put a little bit of eyeshadow primer on first. So now I'm going to take the Sigma winged eyeliner brush and blend out that pencil. And don't worry if you make a mess, if it ends up farther down than you want it, because we're going to clean up with a Q-tip. Now you can wait to clean up, or you can clean up as you go. And one of the things you're going to need are these pointed Q-tips. I love these. And I actually like to clean up as I go. I don't mind doing it a few times. It's not a big deal. So I just take the Q-tip and clean it up. And now what we're going to do is we are going to, again, sort of map out that real elongated, lifted shadow. So I'm going to take this brush from Sonia G. It is the Builder Pro and the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette, but you can use any palette you want, any shades you want. I'm going to go in with Burnt Orange, and using the tail of that wing as my guide, I am going to create the lifted, elongated, foxy eye shape. And don't worry if you have to pull a little bit. When you have hooded eyes, you know that a little pulling is necessary, especially if you have aging hooded eyes. And you want to blend this so that it comes up nearly to the brow. And as you work, you'll have less and less product on the brush, so it'll look more diffused. And again, don't worry if you blended outside the lines, because you can easily clean it up. So now I'm going to go back in with that winged liner brush. And now I'm going in with Cypress Umber, which is a dark, dark brown. And I'm setting that eyeliner, that brown eyeliner. I'm sorry if you guys can see the mirror in this video, but my eyes are getting really, really bad. And I can't see unless I'm this close to my magnifying mirror. So I've cleaned up again. And now I'm going back with that Worker Pro brush, and I'm going into a little bit of a darker color. This one is called Sienna. And with my eyes open, I am going right into where my crease would be. So looking straight into the mirror, here's the fold of where my crease would be if I didn't have hooded eyes. So now that I've sort of pressed into the skin and marked the location, then I'm going to raise my brows again and do the same thing I did with that first color, but a little bit lower. So it's going to blend out any of that brown liner that may have attached, and I'm diffusing it. Now this Sonia G brush is pricey, I'm not going to lie, but it is awesome. Absolutely perfect for this technique and for hooded eyes in general. Now I'm using a clean Sigma E25 blending brush and buffing everything together. This is all about having a very diffused uplifted look. And the reason why I've placed the dark color through here, whereas in some videos you may have seen this whole area very light, the problem with that and hooded lids is that it looks a little strange. Anytime I've seen this sort of foxy eye look on someone with hooded eyes that has the lightness through there, I don't find it to be very flattering. I think you need a little bit of darkness. If you've got a lot of flesh in this area, lightness is only going to make it look more fleshy and more pronounced. So I like to have a little bit of darkness in there, but you can put a little lightness underneath the fold. So I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to go into Tempera or Tempera. I'm not really sure how you pronounce this, but it's one of my favorite eyeshadows of all time from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And so I'm just patting that right on the lid. But in the inner corner, I'm keeping it really low. And in some cases, you might have to go back and darken it a little bit. And now you're thinking, well, Risa, you just got rid of all that brown at your lash line. That's okay. Again, it was just a map. Now we're gonna go in with a brown liquid eyeliner. And I know this seems like a lot of steps, but trust me, once you get it down, it really won't take you that long. And I'm keeping the line very, very thin at the lash line. But then I'm following that same map of the brown liner and shadow. And you want to keep your eye raised while it dries, because if you don't keep your eyebrows raised like this, then you risk getting the eyeliner on the lid again, which you don't want to do. So you want the liquid liner to dry. Now you can either leave it like this, or if you want a softer look, you go over it one more time with a little eyeshadow, just to soften. Cleaning up. And now we're going to go back to the eyebrow and fill that in. And again, you want to make sure that the lines are coming out towards the temple and not down. And I just went back in with a little concealer again to lighten up underneath the brow and really define the shape. Now to keep this uplifted look, we only want to line the lower lash lines on the outer portion of the eye. So I'm going to use that same winged liner brush from Sigma, and I'm going to go back into the Soft Glam palette. This time I'm going to use Rustic. So I'm using all mid-tone browns and dark brown. I'm pressing it along the lower lash lines and linking it up to my wing. Now let's do that smile test again. Do you see how even though when I'm not smiling, the eyeliner seems a little bit high? When I do smile, it looks like it's actually following the lower lash line, and it's not falling below the lower lash line. And if you're not going to use any individual lashes for this look, which I do recommend and I'll be showing you in a moment, what you want to do is you want to make sure when you're applying your mascara that you're really winging it out, that you're not trying to go up as much as out. You want to wiggle and bring the lashes out. So I do recommend adding a couple of individual lashes on the outer corner or a cluster of lashes just to give that lift. So for lashes that give lift at the outer corner, you want to look for those that have a gradient from short to long. Do you see how these lashes are short at the beginning and then they get gradually longer? Now there are some that are just winged like that. We're going to be cutting them, so all we're looking for is a gradient from the beginning to the middle. Now you can either cut up this lash and place it where you want, or to keep things simple, you can just cut it in half basically. So all I've got left is about 4 or 5 little clusters, and that's going to go on the very end of my eye. So this is the finished look. I really hope you all enjoyed this tutorial on how to get the foxy eye trend look with your eyeshadow on hooded and downturned eyes. If you did enjoy it, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would be very grateful if you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload, and you will become part of the Risa Does Makeup family. I'm very happy to have you. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under the same username, Risa Does Makeup. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.